Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. And no, not me. Juan Soto had his press conference yesterday after his signing with the Mets. Now, we all knew this was going to happen. You didn't want it to as a Yankee fan, but you kind of knew it was going to happen because Uncle Steve's got deep pockets. He went into his own reserves for this, okay? You can't tell me any different. And he's got an opt-out after 5 years unless they increase his thing $4 million a year. Okay, whatever you say. I find it odd, now that things are coming out about this and people were actually asking him questions, that not one teammate reached out and asked, why don't you come back? We loved having you here. We had a great time here. Judge didn't. No one did. Nobody. I find that odd. That's number one. Now, he could have been told by that fucking scrub fuck Scott Boras, don't talk to anybody. Don't let them sway your decision. Let me do this. Because we all know Scott Boras has no soul. And he's got to make up for the debacle of last year when he had 4 guys he couldn't sign. Including Snell. Okay, so he had 4 guys last year he couldn't sign. So he had to save face for his agency and for himself. And he got Uncle Steve to pay. Which is fine. You went to the highest bidder. Which means you are loyal to no one. Now, I knew this beforehand. Because after the Nationals won the World Series, and he was on that team, they offered him at the time it was a lot, $450 million for 15 years or whatever the hell it was. And he turned it down. So he has no loyalty. He goes to the highest bidder. End of story. End of story. And the Mets made the highest bid. And they gave him the free suite, which is also now considered payment. It's, I mean, when you start demanding stupid shit, go. Just go. You wouldn't stay here because of a free suite or other little things that could have been worked out. Oh, God forbid, right? He is greedy. It's going to be interesting because now he's the man. See, he wasn't the man here on the Yankees with Judge. So he wasn't the man here. He was the second man. So Judge was his protection in the lineup. Judge was hitting behind him during the regular season. Now, you can say all you want about the playoffs. I'm just talking regular season to get to the playoffs. He had 41 home runs this year. His best year. Now, he only hit 283. It's not like he's a 300 hitter. And his defense is a C grade at best. He's got a good arm, but he doesn't know how to track fly balls. He doesn't. He takes the bad angle to him. If it gets over his head, forget it. He's never fucking jumping into a wall. God forbid. Okay? So, we'll see how he does with the Mets, depending on who's hitting behind him. Okay? Lindor's probably going to lead off, which he should. You'll probably have Soto up second. But who's behind him to protect him? Because you could just walk Soto. If you get Lindor out, you can walk Soto. Plain and simple. And it's not like Soto doesn't strike out. Remember, he's only a 283 hitter. So it's not like you can't get him out. You just can't throw a bad pitch like any other good hitter. So I'd love to see what the protection is in the lineup, especially if they don't re-sign Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is at least some kind of threat behind Soto. If you walk Soto, you got to deal with Alonso. Right now, unless they sign Alonso, they don't have that. Who's your power hitter on the Mets besides Alonso? There's a couple of guys who can give you some pop, but not on a consistent basis. So if the person behind Juan Soto isn't a threat in the batting order, why would you pitch to him? Unless, like I said, Lindor gets on. It's going to be a very interesting season to see what happens. I mean, the Mets made the playoffs. The Mets still don't have the pitching they need. There's some, but they don't have what they need yet. Just like the Yankees don't. Yankees got a couple of... Yankees picked up Fried. That's a good pickup. Now I want to see what they do with the Japanese kid. Because he was a big Tanaka fan. We had Tanaka. So Tanaka may talk to him and say, hey, go to the Yankees, man. That's the place to be. He could. I'm not saying he will. He could. So now if the Yankees land him, there was a trade rumor for Gil to trade for first baseman. I'd give him Clark Schmidt over that. Gil, you have control over for at least another 4 years, I think, before he has to go to arbitration. I wouldn't get rid of him, especially the way he's pitching. He's Rookie of the Year. See, this is where Cashman has to make his money and use his fucking head. You have the Rookie of the Year. Now, granted, trade-wise, you could probably get a lot for him. More than you could with Clark Schmidt. But I would rather part with Schmidt than him because he's got more potential. That's my opinion on the subject. Like I said, wait till May when the Mets come and play at Yankee Stadium. That man is going to be eviscerated by the fans. Eviscerated. And he deserves it because he's greedy. He has no loyalty to any team. He probably won't even be loyal to the Mets. Oh, they're paying me. This is great. He can say all the right things, but his actions speak a lot louder. And that's just my opinion on the subject. We'll see you in May and see what happens. Booyah!